So Kim, tell me a little bit of what made you reconsider Jesus.
Well, I met this lovely young lady who later became my wife, and she was a Christian. I had grown up going to church, but I had never understood the message of Jesus. It was ritual, it was reading from this book, reading from that book, but nothing about Jesus. And anyway, Meryl challenged me. She said, well, please think about it again, reconsider it. And so I went to our local church. This was in York, where I was living, and I heard a message about the historical reality of Jesus, and that really blew me away, because I've always been a facts and figures person, history. I like things to add up, to make sense, and all the years of my life preceding that, I had never considered the historical reality of Jesus. But as I thought about it, and as I had another encounter, these things really came together, and I've since found out that there is far more evidence, not just from the Bible, but from other sources about Jesus than there is about Julius Caesar, whom we all accept was the Roman leader about that same period in history. There's so much more written about Jesus by non-Jews, non-Christians and Jews, and so there it is. It's a fact. He lived, he walked, he healed, he died, he rose again, and he has made so many wonderful promises to us that how can we dispute that he existed or that what he says isn't true? So there we are.
Excellent. Again, spoke really well. Shall I ask you that second question? So
Yeah, which one is it?
Yeah, well, the second question is just around what was it about the historical fact that Jesus really did rise from the dead that stuck with you? I mean, I think you kind of covered it a bit in what you said then.
Yeah,
so
I think I'd struggle to say anything more new about that.
No, that's okay. I think that came across well. Because I'll have multiple voices through. So, was there anything else you felt like you wanted to say? But other than that, I think it came across really well.
I guess I could. Yeah, I could add to that. Just tying what the Bible says with the reality of the world that we see around us, and the fact that more and more scientists seem to be coming to the conclusion that there's intelligent design on Earth. It can't just be a fluke. So
Maybe share a little bit on that. Is there something about what you've seen in the scientific realm that's been really confirming in that faith?
Yep. Okay. So all right. So just proceed? Or?
Yeah, I mean, the good thing about it being recording is I can cut even what you were saying just before and use that. So if there's something more to that idea that you wanted to share.
Yeah, okay. All right. I've been a Christian now for almost 40 years, and over those years, having read the Bible multiple times, and travelled a lot, worked in other countries, seen a lot of God's creation, it just makes so much sense that we live in a created world, that there is an order. I mean, here's a scientific thing. has anyone got a valid explanation for gravity? Without it, we'd be lost. But somehow, God in his miraculous way has given us gravity that keeps us all here on Mother Earth, and isn't that a blessing? More than that, I've found reading scientific journals or articles and things, more and more scientists are coming to realise or believe that there is some intelligent design behind nature or creation. They're not necessarily saying that God did it, but they realise it can't just be chance. It's not just the product of some bits and pieces coming together in a puddle. So that's the miracle of it, realising that who we are and the earth, the cosmos around us are just so complex, all working together in harmony, in unison, sustained by God. It's no accident. It's his work, his handiwork, and what a blessing that is.
Oh, great. Excellent. I don't know if you've got something in your mind to share from your missional experience, just about how, I suppose it would be the wrong thing to say we go on mission for the sake of making our life feel better. That'd be a really poor way of saying it. But I suppose if you found something about being on the mission field that was really confirming of like, oh no, this is more what real life is about, what the abundant life that Jesus spoke of was. Yeah. I wonder if there's anything in that space that you learnt from the mission field that would be worth sharing.
I saw my whole time in missionary work as a learning experience. I was training people, but what you could learn from them and about them was far much more than I could teach them.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. Yeah, there are a few things that come to mind that I could add on.
Yeah, okay. Well, how about I'll ask it as a direct question and give you that chance to speak. So Kim, you spent some time on the mission field. Could you share with us just some thoughts you had about that abundant life of Jesus that you experienced and maybe you learnt about while on the mission field?
Yeah, sure. I valued the experiences I had praying for different countries, seeing what their needs were, getting an understanding of what different countries were facing, but more so travelling to Pacific countries, to Asian countries, to African countries. One thing I really appreciated was seeing people who have nothing can still be joyful, content, generous, hospitable and loving. That's one serious lesson I learned. We don't need stuff to be complete. You can be totally complete with nothing. So that was one lesson. Another thing was in many countries I went to, there was persecution, there was uncertainty, it was a daily thing, there were daily needs for just the daily bread. They're things we take for granted, but in many places they're not taken for granted. I saw courage. Some of my colleagues in Nepal, young people, one guy particularly I worked with in many places, he assisted me when I was out training people. He was prepared to die on the mission field rather than give up or not give everything he had to that cause. Many of them suffered great hardship, and he said, we welcome persecution in Nepal because we know the church grows through that affliction.
Wow.
Yep.
That's powerful.
Mm.
That really is.
Yep.
Look, I won't hold you any longer. I think that